and yuzu. Now, you two need to save me some for later. All right, back now with tips for keeping your winter garden in bloom is Heather Tate from King's Plant Barn. And we're talking perfumed plants this time, Heather.
We certainly are, because there's an amazing amount of perfume at the moment. But I'd just like to say, because you were just talking about citrus. Citrus are very easy to grow, and the one thing I absolutely adore, here's some lemons here. The one thing I absolutely adore coming out of winter, you know that winter is starting to finish when the first flowers on the citrus trees start blooming, and you get that intense aroma. It's such a citrus flowers have such a gorgeous scent. So if you've got your lemon or your lime tree and it hasn't fruited or whatever, but it's coming into bud, you know, there's a lovely, lovely surprise awaiting you shortly. And that's when you know that winter, dare I say it, might be soon over.
Fantastic.
Okay, so there's lots of things around, because the air is still, the garden isn't, you know, bursting with flower and everything. There are lots of things that you can notice, your sort of sensory organs, I suppose, pick up all these lovely aromas and things, and sometimes you don't actually know where it's from. I mean, one of the things you can have in a basket, if we can just have a look at this one, these are beautiful white primulas, and no, there isn't any scent to them, but underplanted here is alyssum, just down here, and that actually has quite a sweet, sugary scent. Now, alyssum is something like a punnet is about $3 and you get 6 plants. So you can see also there's a lot of value. There's a lot of plants you can take at the moment home that are very valuable. I mean, the potted colour form of it is, I guess, around $1 to $1.50 a plant, and that's going to give you 3 months of, you know, scent and value. Right beside there are little dwarf white cyclamen. Now, it's really just the dwarf and some of the pink ones, but they emit a beautiful scent as well. And again, potted colour again is stock, and we all know that stock has that classic, lovely old-fashioned fragrance. A little known one, and it has to be the darker yellow polyanthus. I think I can smell a sort of burnt sugar aroma to them, but other people may disagree, but I think it's, you know, it's pretty good. The other thing that comes into its own at this time of the year are camellias. I love camellias even right through the year, because they're good green leaves on camellias have fabulous framework to the garden. But as they start to flower, there are some particular varieties that I think have just a delicate sort of wafting scent, and they don't always have to grow in full sun, so you're getting quite good value out of them. My favourite is an unpronounceable one called Transnocoensis, and I've grown that by the rubbish bins in my garden, you know, around the back of my house, in virtually full shade, some reflected light, and at this time of the year, and going on for about 5 or 6 months, these little flowers will have this gorgeous, delicate perfume. And some of the Sasanqua varieties, many of the varieties, the best way to choose them is just to put your nose on them and see if they've got a fragrance or not. Daphne is obviously your classic one at the moment. That's flowering now in the garden centre, so you'll be able to pick up a bush of Daphne. Remember, they like light shade best. And also coming soon, and you can just see the brown buds forming, is that classic Baronia, which has a very lemony scent. And although that's not the prettiest thing, if you underplanted it with some of the other fragrant things that I was just talking about, you can actually have quite a nice sort of scent thing going on in a pot. Eriostemon is another favourite of mine, and again, I'll just bring the label because the flower is only in bud, but it's actually the foliage that has a sort of, I don't know, quite a spicy fragrance to it, and I've actually seen it cut beautifully as a hedge. So again, another unremarkable plant for the garden, but useful plant that actually provides something extra. Now, if you're getting into pots, lilies. If you're getting into pots, lilies are the best thing. They're in pots, easily grown in pots or in the garden, and they're pretty amazing. They take almost no care. You know, a little bit of liquid feed as they start to come through. And violas. Okay, so violas are, you know, sort of violets and things are the classic old-fashioned scent. So if you put your nose on those, they're very sweet and yummy. Planning ahead also for coming into spring, roses are in the garden centres now, and I've picked out 2 of my most favourite fragrant ones. There's Margaret Merrill and also Étoile de Holland. And Étoile de Holland is a big climbing red with that lovely, rich, velvety scent to it. And I think also you can't go past putting lavender in. The English lavenders, they have a you know, a gorgeous sort of fragrance. They are the oil lavenders of the lavender varieties, they are the ones that, while they look a bit compact and not doing much now, they'll come on and flower beautifully in spring.
Wow. Heather, I wish we had smell-o-vision, because
You need smell-o-vision.
We do, don't we? Hey, Heather, we have to go to our garden diary, rather.
Okay.
So what have you got for us this week?
Well, I think the best things to do in the garden right now are to plant all those vegetables we talked about earlier, your brassicas and your cauliflower and your spinach and things. Harvest all your fruit. There's persimmon around at the moment, cherry guavas and things. Prune apple and pear trees, but don't bother with stone fruit and plums. It's the apples and pears that are dormant at the moment that could do with a good pruning. And moss. There's a lot of moss around because of this weather, so there's some good sprays or treatments that your garden centre will tell you about. And also, it's frost time. Now, even if your plants are frosted, cover them. See this gorgeous soft stuff, or even just some newspaper. We are getting a whole run of frosts across the whole of the North and South Island. And remember, if you've got damage on plants that you weren't expecting, continue to cover them from now on, but do not remove that burnt or melted layer at the top, because that's actually protecting the rest of the plant. So yeah, get some frost cloth on and stay inside and keep warm.
Absolutely. Hey, wonderful to see you again, Heather. Thank you so much for all the wonderful advice and tips. And for more gardening tips, you can please go to our Good Morning website.